a social platform that has its good and bad.
VRChat's ridiculously diverse. Like this, with I guess everything kind of going on, like how distant people be. This is like a fantastic place for people just to meet up in like different worlds.
Pure anarchy, where people mostly go uncensored.
As a platform, personally, it's just kind of a fun world to move around in. But conceptually, it's really cool to me.
It's more of like, it's so I can actually see my friends that are far away. Like, OB is why I mainly play.
Well, I'm really scared of being alone, basically. And, well, my classmates being mean to me a lot of the time, it just builds up, and that's why I have anger issues.
It's just a social place where I go to hang out with as many fucking people as I can.
I also believe it's a social place for people to meet.
I would say VRChat is a nice social platform where I come on to speak with my friends and meet new people.
Well, I mean, I just kind of want to like reiterate what North said. I mean, he describes it as anarchy. I describe it as like almost like the freedom of expression.
Sony and potato chips. I was really into years ago, if anyone remembers, IMVU, which wasn't VR, but it was kind of like this.
Yeah. In some elements, just like Cupcake was saying before me, I feel like it's helped with a little bit of social anxiety. But it's also this weird element of, if you come to VRChat with no friends, and somehow manage to still not have any friends, it makes you feel way, way worse.
The more you play VRChat, the more you'll find out about VRChat. It's like online relationships. If both partners are fine with it, then it's a relationship.
Would you believe if I told you that I'm actually entirely new to VR, so I have practically no experience, but I have only great experience so far.
I've not been on that side of VRChat. I've heard people talk about it. I've seen people that have used their avatars of that side of VRChat in public worlds, but either they don't use the explicit parts of the avatar, or they very quickly get removed from the room because, one, it's against the TOS of the game, and two, most people in a public world aren't there to see that.
I mean, I've seen like one couple before. Things got a little escalated with them, and I guess it made me uncomfortable.
If people are happy together, I'm more than fine with them being together. And I've seen a lot of relationships and a lot of sexual things in private clubs and stuff like that. Never been a part of it, but I have heard it and seen it, and I mean, as long as people are happy and they're not trying to bring me into it, I don't give a shit.
Anecdotally, I've not seen people actually having like some sort of serious relationship within the VRChat realm. I have seen people flirting. You know, obviously there's going to be some of that with the anonymity and the plethora of males.
On here so far, not much of relationships. I've definitely seen people being creepy to one another, like trying to sexualize each other, but not in a funny meme way, but more of a creepy type way. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, what VRChat has taught me is really about how other people see different parts of the world, because people from all over the world play on this game, and they tell me what their country is like, and I tell them what my country is like, and it kind of gets rid of some stereotypes one might, you know, carry around with you.
To point that up, it is interesting. This is my first time actually in a VR. playing around with it and everything, it is weird how you were saying true people's forms come out. Like, when I first went into a room, it happened to be an Asian character, and this person was calling me Asian slurs and everything, and then I spoke out, and then they heard my woman voice, and they started saying woman hatred and making fun and saying slurs just because I'm a woman. It is weird but interesting to see how what's the word I'm looking for? How people's true forms come out when, like you were saying, there's a screen in front of them.
Well, for me personally, for the better part of a year because of the whole pandemic, I've been mostly inside. I'm considered high risk for that. So as far as the whole social interaction goes, it's helped me cope with not being around, human beings and all that. I mean, I am married and I do have a wife, but at the moment she's taken up 2 jobs to help support us, and I can't go out and work because I might get it and go to the hospital or whatever. So for me, it's helped me cope with the inability to communicate and make friends with people.
Yeah, I mean, VRChat has definitely helped me with opening up and being a little bit less anxious with talking with new people. And I will say this, that this might get dark. When I met some people when I started VRChat, and they stopped me from killing myself because of depression. They talked me out of it, and thanks to those people, I still am with today. They saved my life, and I'm forever thankful for the people I meet in here now, because every person I meet in here is a treasure to me. So, yeah.
A fantastic place for people just to meet up in like different worlds and everything. Favor your favorite worlds. That home world is like your like go-to spot whenever you log in. Like, I have a world that's just my absolute favorite. It just rains and plays soothing music, and every time I log in, I'm like, yes, hello, I have arrived.
It did help me open up more, as I'm a little more open, and especially after this, I can be a little more open on Discord with people.
My biggest regret was using drugs and using a drug for the first time. I know that one for sure.
Probably my biggest one would be how lazy I was throughout high school. And that's because I was homeschooled, but I was helped through it a bit by the fact that my mom's own issues led to her not being able to be as direct with us during our homeschooling, and it got to the point that I was able to breeze through high school by just submitting in enough work to be turned in as samples to the group that did my homeschooling, because that was required to show that we were doing our work. I did just enough for those samples that needed to be turned in, and that was it. I didn't really do any schoolwork throughout high school whatsoever, and I feel that I do not deserve the diploma that I have.
I regret a lot, actually, that I always help every single friend I can with every single problem I can help with. They allow me to help with, but I never get helped. I never ask for help, and I can feel it, take a mental toll on me.
I think my biggest regret is not being more adventurous with stuff and like staying in the bubble of like go through school and then go to college. And I didn't wind up finishing college, so like I failed here, but then I also didn't go and experience stuff, so I failed here. It's like I failed my parents and myself.
I guess what I regret the most is sometimes maybe being too open or sometimes too closed off. It's really hard sometimes to balance in between the two and everything, but because like when you come on here, like coming on here to friends, you're like, oh my gosh, I could be open with you.
So I don't necessarily remember the details because I have dumb memory, but I do know it was really funny. It was with me my dad and my brother. Basically, we were swimming, and my dad picked up my brother and he yeeted him. He looked so stupid. This is amazing. And then he yeeted me next. He's like, no mercy.
When I was 14, I had one of those flip phones that can record like shitty videos and whatnot. Me and my friend would, when we'd have to take a shit, we'd put the phone down right next to our ass, so you see our asshole, and then we'd shit and record the shit coming out of our asshole, and I'd do that. My friend would do that. And like sometimes it would be like, the different consistencies and textures and colors of the shits, and sometimes it would be like sculpting clay, and sometimes it would be like soft serve ice cream when you pull the lever down and it comes out all swirly and shit, and sometimes, like, you see the hair on his asshole, like, getting bits of shit on it, and it's so nasty, and then, like, you see his, like, asshole, like, dilate, and then, like, a shit just, like, fucking arm's length coming out, and then it puckering back up again. And we'd have, like, a couple of these videos on our phones, and we'd watch them and fucking laugh, and, like, dude, it looks like a... It looks like a fucking, I don't know, like the Sarlacc pit from Star Wars.